Hi everyone, it's Brian Parker, and first of all, yes, I shaved my face, so that's what's different. And secondly, I apologize, but I am on the road traveling, so um, here I am in the hotel room outside of Fort Lauderdale, across from the beach, as you can see. And I just want to take a minute to do a quick video update, because there are a couple things that have happened, and there's more that's going to have videos after this because there's a lot of topics to discuss. But the topics I want to discuss today are, wanted to make sure everybody was aware of the fact that the review team that reviewed the moderator's nominating process, Dan Hatchkus and Phil Griffin, who put together a report that was discussed in one of the previous videos, has created an addendum to that report, and I don't think that got very much attention, or was the news was announced too much, and I found it because it's tucked into the back of the last governing board's meeting minutes when they met in St. Petersburg, Florida, for their face-to-face meeting. I should correctly say when some of them met in St. Petersburg for their face-to-face meeting. I just want to highlight a couple things about that report and read it to you. It says, since the completion of our report, we have conducted 2 additional interviews with former members of the governing board, Reverend Karen Thompson and Reverend Carol Trissel. Our report incorrectly stated that Jack Hunter had reached out to Karen on our behalf. In fact, we never asked Jack to contact Karen. This is our error, and we apologize to everyone, and to Jack in particular, for failing to set the record straight before the report was published. That's one of the things that I highlighted in that video that I did last time. I knew that Reverend Karen was interviewed before the report was released, and yet the report went out saying that she was not did not respond or had not been interviewed. The report goes on to say that their conversations with Karen and Carol provided 2 additional perspectives to the events that have occurred in the last several years or several months, and acknowledged that there's been some division amongst the governing board long before the moderator's nominating committee came back with their selection of candidates. What they also state in here is that a number of governing board members and former members whose positions on specific issues vary told us that they felt excluded, marginalized, and ignored by other members. Some felt that the moderator had conferred too exclusively with a small group of supporters. We heard several theories about why that might be, and some realization for it as well. They also go on to say that the additional interviews have added to their understanding of some patterns of communication on the governing board and that have contributed to the current problems. The resignations from the governing board that have occurred over the past year resulted in part from members feeling unheard by others and frustrated by continual conflict. Governing board members reported feeling attacked and unkindly treated by those who disagreed with them. And so that's the first thing I want you to know, is that this addendum has come out. Second thing that I want you to know is that since this, we've had yet another resignation on the governing board. Kareem Murphy has made it public and has announced that as of Saturday, May 7th, he has resigned from the governing board. And he notes that this now means that half of the governing board has resigned since February of this year. And so here we are with literally the bare minimum amount of people to conduct business for MCC as we go into general conference. And knowing Kareem and knowing his dedication to MCC, and to knowing how well he performed on the governing board when we served together, I know that he had to have been at his complete threshold and beyond to not be able to ride out these next 2 months before general conference. So I personally just say thank you to Kareem for enduring what he's endured and for his years of service in many, many, many ways to MCC. MCC is better because of his service. I also want to ask directly, though, to Kareem and to Carol and to Karen and to Robert and to those who have resigned, that as comfortable as you are, if you would share with us a little bit more detail into why you have resigned from the governing board. And I think it's important because I look at what's coming up. We have the election for the governing board coming up. It's a chance for us to start fresh, clean, and new. Plus, we have, obviously the new moderator coming on board. And when I look at our slate of candidates for the governing board and our current governing board, and by current, I mean the 4 or 5, if you count our moderator, who are left, I know that, we have one member who all their terms are up, except for one who will remain on the governing board, SJ, and I think she has another 3 years in her term. Another current member of the governing board who has already served 6 years, Reverend Onetta Brooks, is on the slate of candidates for running for governing board. And just thinking about everything that has happened over these last few months with the governing board, I want to hear from our governing board members who have resigned on their perspective. And it sounds like I'm really targeting Onetta here, but if it was 3 of the current governing board members running again, I would want to know from those who resigned, what should our delegates and our clergy voting members know going into General Conference about the performance and the manner in which it is to work on a governing board with these who are running for re-election. So those really are my questions. Why did you resign? And could you share with us what it's like to have worked with, in this case, it's only one candidate who has already served on the governing board as running for re-election. So that's all I have for today. I am going to come back and I want to discuss some other things that are coming up that are being talked about. Again, read the meeting minutes from the last face-to-face meeting that they just had, and you'll see there's the discussion about virtual voting. A little perplexed on that and how that's going to work and what it means. I've asked for some more clarification on that, and also want to discuss a little bit about maybe some of the things that have been said and responses that we've heard from our candidates for moderator at their town hall meeting or in their subsequent follow-ups to questions that they've been posting on Facebook. So with that, you'll hear from me soon. As soon as I can dig a little bit deeper into the virtual voting, I will get back with you all. Thanks.